She was order. Isabel was the epitome of precision and discipline. Every aspect of her life was meticulously planned, from her early morning runs to her late-night strategy sessions. Her wardrobe was a collection of tailored suits, each one a testament to her unwavering commitment to professionalism. She thrived on structure, finding comfort in the predictability of her daily routine. Her world was a symphony of schedules and deadlines. Each day was a carefully orchestrated performance, where every meeting, every call, and every email played a crucial part in the grand composition of her career. The city around her buzzed with the same relentless energy, a constant reminder of the pace she had set for herself, a place where ambition resonated in every boardroom echo. The corporate world was her stage, and she was the star performer. Boardrooms were her battlegrounds, where she wielded her intellect and determination like weapons. Every deal closed, every project completed, was a victory that fueled her drive for success. Her name was Isabel, and she was in control. Until him. Isabel had always prided herself on her ability to remain composed and focused, no matter the circumstances. But when he entered her life, everything changed. He was a force of nature, unpredictable and captivating, challenging her in ways she had never anticipated. Isabel thrived in the cutthroat world of finance. She had climbed the corporate ladder with relentless determination, earning the respect and admiration of her peers. Her presentations were legendary, her insights invaluable. She was a powerhouse, a woman who had carved out a place for herself in a male-dominated industry. Her days were long, fueled by endless cups of coffee and the thrill of the deal. Each morning began with a strong espresso, the first of many that would keep her going through the day. The adrenaline rush of closing a deal was her drug of choice, a high that kept her pushing forward, always striving for more. She was respected, even feared. Her colleagues knew better than to cross her, for Isabel was not one to be trifled with. Her reputation for excellence was matched only by her fierce determination. She led her team with an iron fist, demanding nothing less than perfection from herself and those around her. Yet, beneath the polished exterior, a flicker of loneliness remained. Then he walked in. Despite her many accomplishments, there was a part of Isabel that felt incomplete. The long hours and constant pressure had taken their toll, leaving her with little time for personal connections. She often found herself gazing out at the city, wondering if there was more to life than the relentless pursuit of success. And then, one day, he appeared. He was different from anyone she had ever met, a breath of fresh air in her otherwise suffocating world. His presence was a reminder that there was more to life than work, that perhaps, just perhaps, there was room for something more. He was a new colleague, a rising star in the company, and from the moment their eyes met, Isabel felt a connection she couldn't explain. He was confident, yet approachable, with a charisma that drew people to him. As they began to work together, Isabel found herself opening up in ways she never had before. He challenged her, not just professionally, but personally, pushing her to reconsider the rigid boundaries she had set for herself. Their partnership was electric, a perfect blend of intellect and intuition. They complemented each other in ways that made their work not just successful, but extraordinary. And as they spent more time together, Isabel began to see the world through his eyes, discovering a new perspective that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Outside the office, their relationship blossomed. They shared long conversations over coffee, exploring the city together and finding joy in the simple moments. For the first time in a long time, Isabel felt truly alive, her heart racing not from the thrill of a deal, but from the excitement of a new beginning. Isabel's life was changing, and she welcomed it. The order and control that had once defined her existence were giving way to something new, something unpredictable and beautiful. She was learning to let go, to embrace the chaos and find balance in the midst of it. And as she stood on the rooftop, looking out over the city with him by her side, Isabel knew that her life would never be the same again. Ethan, new recruit, bright-eyed and full of ambition, he was everything she wasn't: carefree, passionate, dangerous. Their first encounter was unremarkable, a brief introduction in a crowded conference room. Yet, something in his gaze, a spark of admiration mixed with defiance, caught her off guard. It was a look she couldn't shake off. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. The city buzzed with its usual fervor, a constant hum of life and activity. Amidst this urban symphony, their paths began to cross more often than she cared to admit. Late-night work sessions became a common occurrence, the glow of computer screens illuminating their faces in the dimly lit office. The quiet hum of the air conditioning and the occasional rustle of papers were the only sounds that broke the silence. Chance encounters at the coffee machine turned into brief yet meaningful conversations. They would exchange pleasantries, discuss the latest project, or simply share a moment of silence, each sip of coffee a small comfort in the long hours of the night. Each stolen glance chipped away at her carefully constructed walls. His laughter was infectious, a melody that lingered in her mind long after the moment had passed. She found herself looking forward to these encounters, her heart racing with anticipation. His passion for the work was evident in every task he undertook. He challenged her, pushing her to think beyond the confines of her spreadsheets and profit margins. Their debates were intense yet invigorating, each one leaving her with a new perspective. He made her see the world beyond the numbers, beyond the cold, hard facts. She began to notice the little things, the way the city lights twinkled like stars, the sound of laughter echoing through the streets, the smell of fresh coffee in the morning. She found herself drawn to his energy, his zest for life. He was a breath of fresh air in her otherwise monotonous routine. His enthusiasm was contagious, and she couldn't help but be swept up in it. And she knew it was wrong. She knew that getting involved with a colleague was a risk, one that could jeopardize her career and her carefully planned future. But the heart wants what it wants, and hers was no exception. She found herself at a crossroads, torn between her head and her heart. She would sit at her desk, staring at her phone, a photo of them together bringing a smile to her face. It was a candid shot, taken during one of their late-night work sessions. They were both laughing, the stress of the day momentarily forgotten. Their conversations grew deeper, more personal. They shared their dreams, their fears, their hopes for the future. She learned about his love for adventure, his desire to travel the world. He learned about her passion for art, her dream of opening her own gallery one day. They were two souls, each with their own dreams and aspirations. Yet somehow, they found a common ground. They inspired each other, pushed each other to be better, to dream bigger. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, their bond grew stronger. They would sit together, watching the sunset, the sky painted in hues of orange and pink. In those moments, everything else faded away, and it was just the two of them, lost in their own world. She knew that their time together was limited. The project they were working on would soon come to an end, and with it, their late-night work sessions and chance encounters. She marked the days on her calendar, each one bringing them closer to the inevitable goodbye. The day finally came, and they stood there, looking at each other with longing. There were no words, just a silent understanding that this was the end of their journey together. But even as they said their goodbyes, she knew that the spark they had ignited would stay with her forever. She walked away, her heart heavy with the weight of what could have been. But as she looked back one last time, she knew that she had been changed, that their time together had left an indelible mark on her soul. And in that moment, she realized that sometimes the spark that ignites is enough to light the way forward. Their connection became a whispered rumor in the office corridors, a dangerous game of stolen glances and lingering touches. He was her subordinate, a line she couldn't cross, but the heart wants what it wants. The more she tried to resist, the stronger the pull became. Their late-night work sessions grew longer, the air thick with unspoken desire. Isabel found herself on a precipice, her carefully constructed world on the verge of collapse. Section 5. The Weight of Judgment. The office walls seemed to close in, every whisper a condemnation. The air was thick with unspoken words, and the tension was palpable. It was as if the very building itself was a living entity, feeding off the secrets and lies that permeated its halls. Each step she took echoed with the weight of her decisions, and every glance cast her way felt like a silent accusation. Her friends questioned her judgment, her colleagues gossiped. The risk was enormous. Whispers followed her like shadows, and the once warm camaraderie of her workplace had turned cold and distant. She could feel the eyes of her peers on her, judging her every move, every choice. The stakes were high, and the consequences of her actions loomed over her like a dark cloud. Her career, her reputation, everything she'd worked for. It was all on the line. She had spent years building her professional life, climbing the corporate ladder, and earning the respect of her colleagues. But now, all of that was in jeopardy. The decisions she made in the coming days would determine the course of her future, and the pressure was almost unbearable. Yet she couldn't stay away. Ethan was her weakness, her undoing. Their connection was undeniable. and the pull she felt towards him was stronger than any sense of duty or obligation. She knew the risks, but the thought of being without him was more than she could bear. Their secret meetings were a refuge from the chaos of her life, a brief respite where she could be herself, free from judgment. He saw past her armor to the woman beneath. In his eyes, she found acceptance and understanding. He saw her not as the successful businesswoman, but as the person she truly was, with all her fears and vulnerabilities. With him, she didn't have to pretend or put up a facade. He made her feel seen, valued, and loved in a way she had never experienced before. The woman who craved passion, who longed for a love she thought she didn't deserve. She had always been so focused on her career, on proving herself, that she had pushed aside her own desires and needs. But with Ethan, those long-buried feelings came rushing to the surface. She realized that she wanted more than just professional success. She wanted a deep, meaningful connection, a love that would fill the emptiness inside her. Who longed for a love she thought she didn't deserve? She had always believed that love was something that happened to other people, that she was too flawed, too focused on her career to ever find it. But Ethan had shown her that she was worthy of love, that she deserved to be happy. And now she was faced with a choice, to follow her heart and risk everything, or to play it safe and live with the regret of what might have been. And in his eyes, she saw a reflection of her own desire. It was a desire for a life filled with love and passion, a life where she could be true to herself. She knew that the path ahead would not be easy, that there would be challenges and sacrifices. But in that moment, as she gazed into Ethan's eyes, she felt a sense of clarity and resolve. She knew what she had to do, and she was ready to face whatever came next. Their first kiss was electric, a breach of every boundary, a surrender to the undeniable. It happened in the dimly lit office after everyone had gone home, a stolen moment that changed everything. In his arms she found a solace she never knew she craved, a safe harbor in the storm of her ambition. He was her escape, her forbidden thrill. But with every stolen kiss, the stakes grew higher. The pressure mounted, threatening to crush them both. Whispers turned into accusations. Their secret was a ticking bomb, and it was only a matter of time before it exploded. He was offered a promotion, a chance to escape the pressure cooker of their situation, but it meant leaving her. Leaving the only woman who ever truly saw him. Isabel knew what she had to do, for both their sakes. The decision tore her apart. To choose him meant sacrificing everything she had built. To walk away would be to deny her heart, to live a lie. She loved him. That much was undeniable. But love wasn't always enough. Sometimes it meant letting go, even if it shattered your soul. In the end, it was Ethan who made the choice. He left, took the promotion, walked away from their forbidden love. It was the right decision, the only decision, yet it left them both heartbroken. Years passed. Isabel climbed the corporate ladder, her success tinged with a bittersweet ache. She never forgot him, the memory of their love a ghost that haunted her. And then, one rainy afternoon, he walked back into her life.